Hey, from Diane's Plants. I am Diane, and I had recently a request to show how I propagate. I had showed one on how I do plugs, but now I'm actually going to show how I do propagation. I have moved up in the world, and I have changed my methods. I used to use the solo cups, and they can work, but I needed to make better holes. I didn't make holes good enough. But I'm up in the world, and I get these 4-inch cups, pots. I get them on Amazon. I order the ones that come with tags. They're real cheap. They're like $10 for 100 of them, for the tag and the pots together. So that's what I get. And now I have changed, and I'm trying a new potting mix. Here's your plug for the day. I'm using the Miracle Grow moisture control. We'll see if that works. I just started using it in the last week or two. So far I'm really happy with the results, but time will tell. It is expensive, and if you're a grower like me and you're doing a lot of plants, that cost can be, a problem. But if I get good results in my plants, it could be worth it. So today I'm going to start out with, I've already cut these. These are maculatas, and I just cut off leaves off of the maculata. That's the, what do you guys call it? The polka dot plant. I learned that you can cut the leaf down and make it smaller. And then I cut an angle in the stem like that. And then I take my magic honey. I am still using magic honey. This was donated to me by Sunnyside Honey, and they are in Middle Creek, Pennsylvania. Shout out to them for being so kind. They probably wanted me to eat it, but I used it for my plants. So I get some honey. As you can see, I got it on my end of my stem. I don't know if you have to. The honey is healing, and it provides sugar, which would help anybody grow. I loosely put in my soil, and I don't know if you can see, but I make a little hole. I stick it in just on top of the soil. So I got the stem in, and I've got the center on the dirt. So that's kind of how I do that. I'll show you one more time on the maculata. You can also, here's another of the maculatas. You got a growth here, so that means that could grow. This is a little raggedy looking, but it potentially could grow. Anywhere where there's a node, it could grow. So that's why it grows here. People use this because you can get more than you can on a stem. But if you have trouble growing, you'll find that cutting something, this has a node growing it, so I don't want to cut it there because it's wanting to grow. So I'm going to cut it below that. Can you see the node, what I'm talking about? That's growing, and a root could grow from that, or a leaf could grow from that. And again, I take my fancy honey, and I get it on my stem, and I get my pot, and I loosely put my dirt in, and I use my finger, and I make a hole, and I stick it in. Now that's another way that I do it, and I have found it to be successful. But the more practical way is this, and I'll show that one more time just in case it didn't show up good on the video. I take it, and I'm going to cut this at an angle so you can see the angle. The reason I do that, it gives it more surface area for it to get nutrients and water and whatever it wants from the dirt. I don't know that you have to, but I do. And then I dip it in my honey because I think it helps, it provides it energy, and it helps heal the wound I just created. It helps protect the wound from bacteria. I get my dirt, I make my little hole with my finger, I stick my stem in. And then I'm just going to keep this moist. You kind of have to water it really carefully. Look at my kitty little squashmallow. What are you doing, squashmallow? Anyways, you have to keep it moist. And the maculatas, they don't want a lot of sun, so I kind of put them in the shade. That's how I do those. Now, another type of angel wing, just to show you in a different way. This here is my, I believe it's Linda Dawn. And you can better see on it. There's a node. See the little thing sticking out? There's a node. It's got a thing. Oh, I broke a leaf. Now, it's a raggedy leaf. It may or may not grow, but I could plant that. And then I have the top. So, on this particular plant, I'm going to cut it below the node, above the other node, and below this node. I think that's the one I'm going to pick. And I'm going to do my angle cut and my honey. I'll try not to get honey on my cat because that's a sticky mess. I got my loose potting soil or potting mix. You want to mix with the begonias, not a soil. The soil's too wet. Some people use the words interchangeably, so it depends. Now, I'm going to stick it in the dirt, but I got to make sure I get it past one of the nodes. So I kind of do it deep, but I want the leaves up. So, I mean, in about 2 weeks, that'll have roots, and I could actually sell that. Now, one more type of begonia that I work with is your Rex begonias. This is Red Robin. I have some lovely ones of these available. Let me show you. Look at this. Look at the red color on that. Isn't that just, I mean, that's just gorgeous. This needs a little love and a little planting. She's been a little neglected, so her color isn't quite as stunning. But when I get her potted up here, she's going to turn into a happy plant too. So now for her, these are rhizomes. And you can see along the base here, you can see the roots. And there's actually, this is 4 separate plants I could make easily out of this. And I probably could cut it even further. But for success rate, I'm just gonna, I literally just break them off. Now this one's kind of broken funny. I don't know. Let's see how I did. Yep, I still got some roots on there. So I've made 5 plants out of that. I don't use honey on them. I just take my potting mix. I get it in. And then you want to get this all covered up with dirt. It's pretty simple. The rhizomes tend to go this way across the pot on these. So I kind of plant it a little off center so it can grow. I could have just transferred that whole plant into a bigger pot, which is kind of what happened here. You can see technically this could be 1, 2, 3, 4 plants. And you can see this one here is grown across because this rhizome is going like that. So a new one has come out from it. So she's kind of reproducing on her own. And I could take advantage of that and cut that off, or I could just leave it and make it a nice full plant. It's quite peaceful, and it's quite enjoyable. It's satisfying to see something you planted grow. And you know, we're helping the world when we do this, because these plants help with the oxygen, purifying the air and helping us get oxygen in the air. So if you're at home and you can make some plants, go ahead. You know, there's more. It's pretty easy, and I'm going to show you here. There's 1, there's 2. I mean, this took me all of, 10 minutes to pot these up, and that's with me talking to you guys. Again, I kind of plant it off center. Other people may not, but that's how I do it. I just think it works better. So here, so I turned that one plant into these. And I usually wait about 2 weeks and these will be ready to sell. I make sure they're going to wilt. When you first, all this stuff is going to wilt. It's going to look like it's dead and dying. It's going to look horrible. You just leave it alone. Just keep it moist. Keep it where it likes, you know, the amount of sun that it likes. And 99% of the time they come back. And if you order plants from people, myself or anyone else, and they're a rhizome or a bulb type plant, or even if you get a begonia in, where'd my begonia go? Here, if you get one of these in, and let's say the stem broke off, it was shipped to you and it broke off, and you're calling your plant dealer and you're like, it broke off. Instead of whining and complaining, you can literally just stick your finger in the dirt. You don't even, it will make it grow easier if you cut it and all that. But if not, I walk by my plants and I just do that. In fact, that's how this pot was created. This is just broken pieces that I found along the way that I just shoved into a pot and I let it grow. So if you have any questions, put it down in the comments. You can order my plants on eBay at Diane's Plants. I'm on Facebook, Diana's Plants. I'm on Etsy at Diane's Plants. And I'm here in sunny Florida in the Cross City area, which is North Florida near Gainesville. Thanks so much for your question.